Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unleash Your Wild. Gain more aliveness, pleasure, and creativity in your life to birth your next level desire through the womb and into reality from your body. And for those of you who don't know me, let me introduce myself. I am Sarah Caldicott, mother of 2 neurodiverse daughters, womb awakener, somatic and neuroscience body-based therapist, womb yoga therapist, single mother and soulpreneur for Wild Women's Sacred Space. I offer in-person trainings and retreats for womb somatics, especially for women in healing or health soul-led businesses wanting to have more energy, aliveness and pleasure to give birth to big movements and creative projects. And I've been bursting with excitement to share today's first audio drop for you, with some inspiration of how, as a single mum with a business and 2 neurodiverse children to care for, how I create and have the energy to birth so many offerings, both in person and online. And I'm still in love with what I do, and I'm not sacrificing time with my kids and doing what I love. So I want to start by sharing how I approach my day with an openness and curiosity, staying in my body, keeping this connection when I have an idea I'm working on or a course I'm creating, an answer to what I'm looking for. And I allow myself to connect with my womb, one hand on my heart, one hand on my womb. And I just say, I'm open to it finding me. I'm open to receiving. And there's so much information out there, so much information telling you that you need something from outside of yourself. Like when I first started out as a yoga teacher around 20 plus years ago, I started looking for the answer somewhere else. Even if that answer was working for me, it was still never as powerful as being in spaces where I could fully be myself and come back to my own inner knowing. And when I learned how to really trust myself and stand more powerfully in my own unique voice, everything changed. And this is what I'm offering to you in this space. And I would love to hear your unique voices, your unique desires, intuitions that come up about your next steps when you're in this container. And in this container, you can get support from a space of power, a space that will celebrate you. And I'm asking for you to celebrate each other when you're naming your desires and when you're taking those steps towards them. So we're going to be doing a lot of undoing of what you've already learnt in this space. It's going to be a rewilding, a coming home to your body, coming back to your original nature, which is the opposite of fixing, the opposite of adding more. It's about coming back to knowing you are already whole, bringing more of you to the table and using that 80% of stuck energy in our bodies that come from our thoughts and minds, past trauma, self-sabotage, freeze in the body, so that it can become this unlimited energy and creativity and expression towards your most aligned steps. So much of effort comes from thoughts around what you need to be doing, rather than focusing on your body and your womb and moving differently to the linear. So this will be our first womb awakening somatic practice, where you will find so much more energy in your life, where you'll be able to create more and take more action from an aligned space with more ease and pleasure. So pleasure lives in the body. We don't come across and access pleasure just from thinking about it. We feel it. Where do you feel your pleasure? That whole body tingling that you get with the full body orgasm. You feel that in the whole body, not just through the mind. And we are living in an epidemic of numbness and tension and strain that starts in the mind and is also felt on a nervous system level, in the push, in the contraction. Can anyone relate to this? I'd love to hear from you in the comments, because I really feel that 90% is efforting and strain and unnecessary, and creates all this resistance in our mind that when you stop this, you gain so much energy back. And people people say to me a lot, like, I don't know how you can do it all. And what I hear is that this would be really overwhelming and stressful for them. But actually, when you move from the body, from your intuition, from passion and desire, it takes more energy not to take the action than it does to take it. Because you lose all that unnecessary tension, and so much energy is locked between our hips, ready to be released and accessed for our creativity and soul mission. So an example that I want to use is, say you want to be fit and healthy and you want to start an exercise practice. If you approach it from your mind, pushing, I have to do this, rather than your body, this feels good, I really want to do this because it feels really juicy and lush, moving my body in this way, and the extra energy that I get, it feels different, right? If you're pushing and you're not looking forward to it and it feels hard, your muscles are already going to be tense and contracted before you even start. Whereas if you're relaxed and you're viewing it from enjoyment, from what feels good in your body, you just have more energy. You're not clenching your teeth, you're not gripping, and that miserable experience will become this rapturous, orgasmic experience, and that is available to you. So why make it harder for yourself? How much of this tension is extra? How tight is your jaw and your hips and your chest? And how much of you is numbed? Numbing comes from a body that experiences high stress, and it dries up your creativity and your receptivity. By putting yourself in environments that are high stress, high adrenaline, can induce thoughts of panic or freeze, where your nervous system is preparing to fight a saber-toothed tiger or play dead. And your body literally just shuts down at that point. And the numbing that comes from that also comes from past traumatic experiences, right? So it's a self-protection mechanism. And that's why it's so important to do this deep somatic work in the womb, where this happens, where your adrenals live in your lower belly. This container, by accessing it and starting to free up this unnecessary tension, will completely unleash your wild, creative, expressive self, because your womb is your biggest creative birthing energy center in your body. So many women are walking around hiding themselves and their full self-expression, and that sucks the life force out of them. And that's also what happened to me, experiencing trauma in my childhood, living in functional freeze, doing very well externally, pushing through things, filling all the boxes, getting the degree, the certifications, but not fully living and staying safe, and living mostly in my mind. It was only when I went to a womb workshop in my 20s, around 20 years ago now, and connected with my womb, that I had this massive explosion of freed up energy. And I was like, oh my God, what was that? I had been living around so tense and I hadn't even noticed. Then I had all this energy flowing through me. And these practices will start to free up this energy for you too. You will start expressing yourself, feeling highly creative, enjoying yourself. And this exists for you now in your body. I've recently written a piece on Substack about having the ability and more capacity to feel the feelings in your body, which gives you more capacity for living the life you desire. And I'll drop the link in the comments for you. But the main idea is that if you cut off from failure, disappointment, grief, loss, you're cutting off from rapture, bliss, pleasure, joy, so much so that you can't even feel your body. I remember when I did my first yoga teacher training in my 20s, and the more that I learned to sit with the feelings and the sensations in my body, the more I realised how I cut off from them by being stuck in my thoughts. And these thoughts have a compulsive quality about them. And that's why it makes it even harder to connect to the body and harder to even enjoy pleasure and orgasm. And say, like, the woman who's cut off from her pleasure and her orgasm, say she's the boss babe, say she knows how to do all the things. She knows that sex is good for her relationship and she wants her relationship to thrive. And she knows that creativity and aliveness and energy is great for her business, and she's doing all the things, but nothing's working. This is where the physical body and the womb comes into play. A woman who's unable to trust in life, who's unable to delegate, who's doing all the unseen work in her life, providing for all those around her, taking on the caretaker role, giving away that agency from other people by being helpful, yet subtly controlling. It's a woman who's unable to let go of the imperfection, let go of the judgment, is holding, grasping, tightening, and her life force is depleting. And those network of nerves in her lower belly carrying her life force between her hips are tight. And we all have this woman within us. My mum is this woman, I was this woman, and you're already 10 steps ahead just by being in this space. So coming back to your pleasure, your body, between your legs, your womb space, how much capacity do you have to be present and relaxed enough to receive it, to access it? And it's about your relationship to life and your way of moving through the world, your ability to trust yourself, to delegate, to let go of micromanagement and staying stuck in safety patterns, of being able to be open to life, to receive, to allow energy, pleasure, creativity, aliveness within your body, to move, to allow yourself to desire, to want, to receive, to let other people do for you, to stay present to the openness of what will life bring next, which was the first note, the first introduction note of the practice of being open to and excited by not quite knowing what's going to happen next, not planning it all, letting go of the how it's going to come. So pleasure comes from our presence, our aliveness, and our energy comes from our receiving and our trust of staying connected in our body. And the first practice, which is what I do every day, is hip movements as my main practice. And they're non-linear hip movements, the circles, the swirls. And by connecting to my body in this way, it's me out of compulsory thinking of the mind, coming back into a state of pleasure where I can receive information, connect to my intuition, which lives in my body. Our feminine leadership, energy, power is in our lower body, our womb, our sacral, our solar plexus, our legs. And the female legs and our lower belly is so often so tight. And most people never even, looked at their body or have an intimate relationship with their lower body. And they use this energy through push, push, push in their lower body without being aware of it to drive it into the head, have headaches, chronic neck issues, the throat closes up because you're trying to express yourself in a certain way, all of the energy being pushed up and up, creating this state of overwhelm and stress. creating a lot of tension, nervous system dysregulation, and numbing, which is that adaptive behavior that's not helpful when you're actually safe and not about to be eaten by a tiger, when it is helpful. So you want to feel the pleasure, the aliveness, the creativity, and you need to access your body through non-linear movement. So this is your first somatic activation practice and your home play practice. Turn on a song, close your eyes, place a hand on your belly, a hand on your heart, and just see what way you want to move. If you find yourself moving in patterned ways of moving, that's okay. It doesn't have to look good. You're not performing. Just move in the way your body wants to move. If it wants to shake, shake. If it wants to express itself, let it. Let your body inform your mind what you're feeling. Reconnect to your body and resensitize yourself. And maybe you're thinking, oh, come on, I've heard that. This is simple. I've heard of this practice. But why run from the simple? Why go from the mind on it has to be complicated? Try it for 90 days in a row. Simple is so powerful if you allow the pleasure and the consistency of it. Set yourself up for this challenge to do it every day for the next 2 weeks. Post a video or photo of you doing it every day on social media and share it. Tag me in it and I'll love you up on it and celebrate you, and so can everybody else here. And drop an emoji on this voice note just so I know that you've got it. And remember, bonus points, you can win this one-to-one womb awakening session at the end to help you really unlock your next level. Just from taking action from the body and sharing it with me on social media and in the comments. So every share, every action is a point that adds up at the end. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing your shares. Lots of love.